Are you preparing to go on a dragon drive? How do you know what you need to bring? How do you know what you should leave at home? I just got back from 666 and I'm unpacking my car, and I wanted to do a quick video to kind of talk about what I brought, what I maybe should have brought, and how I should have brought it. This was everything that I have brought with me for the trip. So all of this fit inside my car. I didn't bring a trailer or a roof rack or a cargo basket or anything like that. I have a pretty big car, and I don't have a fuel cell or anything in the trunk, so I've got a lot of room to put stuff in. But I kind of want to talk about how I picked what I chose to bring, what I've learned now that I've brought most of this stuff on 3 Dragon drives. I did Sick Week, Sick Summer, and now 666, and I'm getting better at packing every time. But I think next time there's still some room for improvement. So I want to start with talking about the tools that I brought. You can see I've got just different tool bags laid out here. I made sure when I was buying these bags to not buy 2 of the same bag. So like these blue ones, I got a big one and a little one so I can tell them apart. I know what's in every tool bag. This one, blue one, the big blue one, has wrenches and hammers and pry bars. This black one has screwdrivers and pliers and vice grips and stuff. This little blue one has all my electrical stuff. This big red one has sockets and extensions, torque wrench, stuff like that. This has power tools and batteries. And this is just a basic mechanics tool set. This one just stays in the car all the time, even when I'm just driving to work and stuff like that, just in case I have issues. And it's just a basic mechanics tool set. So the nice thing about this is if I need a wrench, I know I go to the blue bag. And if I open up the blue bag, pretty much every wrench and every hammer I own is in here. I do have this wrench roll, which is really nice. And it helps keep them organized. It would be nice if I had maybe 3 or 4 of these for all the different types of wrenches. But when I unroll this out, it's got all of my ratchet wrenches on one side and all of my regular wrenches on the other side. And then it's got a couple little tiny mini wrenches here in these little pockets here in the middle. So this is nice for all of my regular everyday use wrenches, and then all of my like non-normal wrenches just kind of get tossed in the bag here. And like I said, this one also has hammers and pry bars in it. So inside here we got crescent wrenches, AN wrenches, a pipe wrench, a wrench handle extender, and all that stuff. It's got offset wrenches and line wrenches. Yeah, pretty much every wrench that I own was in this bag at the time. Nice to have all the wrenches in one bag, but if there's something that's not in the wrench roll, it is difficult to find in here. It would be nice to, like I said, to have like 3 or 4 different wrench rolls for all the different wrench types. Alright, I just paused the video and opened everything else up so I wouldn't struggle with the bags anymore. Like I said, screwdrivers and pliers. I also have metric and standard ball and Allen wrenches. I got some of these really nice channel locks. But yeah, standard stuff. I also keep a little mini like file set. Half of them fell out during the trip. It is what it is. It happens. Again, it would be nice to have a better way to organize this stuff, but these bags are really cheap. And you know, things like knives. I did bring a big file as well. Yeah, obviously big screwdrivers, little screwdrivers, everything gets thrown in here. Snap ring pliers, the head fell off, it's in there somewhere. And in the front of this bag, I kind of kept some like flashlights and stuff like that in there. I also have in the front feeler gauges for checking valve lash and a cheap spark plug gapper. Electrical bag, some of my electrical stuff ended up out during the week. I got tired of putting it away every time I used it because I was using some of this stuff like every day, dealing with some of my electrical problems. But big cable cutters, these work for hoses pretty good too. Actually, I think it might be a hose cutter. Crimper, digital multimeter, crimp terminals. I basically have all the stuff that I would need. I got butt connectors, ring terminals of different sizes. So yeah, some spade connectors. Just basic wiring stuff. I mean, I got a carbureted car. It's pretty basic wiring, so I don't have much to work with. Electrical tape. Normally I use heat shrink tubing whenever I'm doing stuff at home, but so I don't have to bring something to shrink it with. I just use electrical tape when I'm in the field. Anything that I electrical tape while I'm like on a drag and drive, I come back home and fix anyways, because I always route it really badly when I'm on the road and I'm always in a hurry. A spare spool of extra wire. I use pink wire when I'm out on the road because I have no pink wires on my car. So any wires that I put in the car that are pink, I know was a road patch job and I have to fix it at some other point because it's not going to stay on the car. Cutters, strippers, don't leave home without them. Self-tapping screws. Again, I don't really use these much when I'm at home, but they are pretty much a necessity on the road. This pack came from Amazon. It was like $10, and it's got all different sizes, and it's got 2 different head types. I brought a spare fuse block. You never know when you might get something like that. Extra relays. They go bad all the time, especially if you buy these cheap ones. Zip ties. Don't leave home without them. More zip ties. More zip ties. Spare toggle switches. You never know when something's just going to go bad on like a turn signal or something like that, and you're just going to bypass it because you're not going to be able to get the right parts when you're in who knows where. So extra toggle switches and stuff like that are a must. The socket bag. I also have my timing light in here just because it was too big to fit in any of the other bags. It's kind of unfortunate that I didn't have a better spot to put the timing light, but it's just kind of where it ended up. So this is nice. It's an extendable breaker bar. So when you put it in your tool bag, it doesn't take up as much room, but then you can extend it when you need it. Small torque wrench, big torque wrench, and yeah, just all my sockets. I do bring a set of Allen head sockets. I don't use them very much, but all of my plugs on my car are Allen head plugs, so it is nice to have those just in case I have to change up like a drain plug or something like that. I also bring a 13mm socket because that's what I use for my exhaust cutouts. I brought a couple other assorted random sockets too, and some different adapters and stuff like that. I always try and bring short and deep sockets for every size because it's hard to tell when you're going to need one or the other. Extensions, wobble extensions are good. Most of these have fallen off the rails. It would be nice to again have some better rails or just a better way to hold these sockets. Ratchets of every size. Extra U-joints here. If you've got any special sockets for your car that you've had to make for one reason or another, like this spark plug socket that's been hacked to pieces that I need for my number 4 and number 8 spark plugs, make sure you have those with you. You do not want to have to make that while you're at O'Reilly's or something somewhere. That's the socket bag. And this, like I said, is just a standard mechanics toolkit. You can pretty much buy this at any, Harbor Freight sells these, Lowe's, wherever. Home Depot, you can get this stuff anywhere. But this is just a basic set. It's nice because most of the time I can just grab this set and it has what I need. I don't have to get out any of the other boxes. And it's not that heavy and it doesn't take up that much room. Like I said, this stays in the car all the time, no matter what. Power tools, tire inflator. I use all these Harbor Freight tools because they're cheap. I can get a replacement at pretty much any Harbor Freight if I need to. Spare batteries. This 1/2-inch impact will take the tires, take the lug nuts off just fine, no problem. I don't know how that electrical tape ended up in there, but that's not supposed to be there. Bring a drill. And I also bring a grinder. This 66 was the first time I've not had to use the grinder. At Sick Week and Sick Summer, I had to use the grinder at both of those. More batteries. Pack of flap wheels. Pack of cutoff wheels. Tap sockets. If you don't have these, you should get some. Box of assorted taps and tap handles. Looks like half of them fell out in this bag at some point during the week. But yep, need taps. And drill bits. People talk smack on these unibits. I love them. They work great, especially when you're out in the field, because you don't know what size you're going to need. And this is every size, so it's perfect. I also carried some of these die grinding bits with me. I didn't bring a die grinder, but in a pinch you can throw these in a drill. It's slow work, but sometimes it's what you gotta do. I also brought this power inverter just in case I needed to charge my tools while we're on the road. If we couldn't, if we thought we were gonna need them before we got to the hotel or something like that, and I ran out of all the batteries. I didn't need to use this, but I had it just in case. Yeah, there's all the rest of my taps and dies that fell out into the bag. So that's all the tools that I brought with me. Rest of the stuff, obviously, I brought my sticky tires. This was all the junk that ended up in the floorboards of my car. There's an unopened energy drink, Tylenol, another knife, beef jerky, water, some stickers that we didn't end up using. We went through a lot of these, but yeah, we had a lot left too because we kept getting more. Obviously, any safety stuff that you need for your ride, like your helmet and my jacket. My fire jacket, I always throw that inside the helmet because there's free room there. These are other things that did not make it back into the tool bag after the week. Tire gauge, gotta have it, a couple of crescent wrenches, and box of fuses. If your car has fuses, you should have replacements. Rain-X, sunscreen. Yeah, I'm pale, I need sunscreen. I bring 4 jack stands with me. These are 6-ton Jegs jack stands. I use the 6 tons instead of the 3 tons because they go up higher, and it's nice to have the car up really high if you ever need to. And I just feel like they're a little bit safer. A lot of times, as some of these tracks have pits that aren't paved, and the wider base on these 6-ton jack stands makes me feel a little bit safer. I always take the middle part out and throw those somewhere else, and then stack these up like this when I put them in the car, so they take up less room. Cooler for water, Gatorade, snacks. Gotta have it. There's my battery charger and drain pan, funnels, spare oil. I did an oil change on the car after the first day of 666, so I had 2 gallons of oil that I left with that I did not come home with. But if you're planning on changing the oil in your car, or if your car burns or leaks a little bit of oil, first off, you should probably get it fixed. If you're not going to get it fixed, then bring some spare oil, because you never know what you're going to be able to find out on the road. One more thing to mention is sponsors at the track. So, pay attention to the event that you're going to. A lot of times they'll have Summit Racing or Motion Raceworks or Driven Racing Oil or some of these different sponsors that put money towards the event. A lot of times they'll have a truck and trailer there. So, if you might be able to save some space by not packing oil. If you're planning on doing an oil change halfway through the event or something like that, you can just not pack oil and bring it with you every day, and then go to the Driven Racing Oil booth at the track and buy some oil from those guys, and that way you're not lugging it around with you and loading and unloading every day. Same thing with like Summit and Motion. If you've got something that they're going to carry, sometimes you can bank on that being available and not pack certain things. This box had some things like ratchet straps, Rain-X anti-fog if you don't have a defroster, get some of that. A couple cans of brake clean, Fix-A-Flat. I always carry some of these with me too, just some, Permatex gasket maker stuff. A lot of times you're putting something together, you can't find the right gasket, or you got like a small tiny tear in your gasket or something like that, and you're just trying to get by. Permatex works good. Different kinds of Permatex. Drop light. You try not to work in the dark, but sometimes you have to. Cotter pin, assortment, JB Weld. I brought this with me every time. I've never had to use it yet. I hope I never do, but I'm always going to have it. Oh, that fell apart. Tire plug kit. More epoxy. Hose clamp assortment. You don't always need those for hoses, but you'll need them for something. More Permatex. Transmission fluid, all that stuff. And this gets into the spare parts that I brought with me. This one was kind of a catch-all. Had lots of stuff in it, like paper towels. Had some sandpaper. As you can tell, I like to wear gloves. Keeps my hands clean. So I brought those with me. Gaskets. This is a intake manifold gasket and an exhaust gasket, or header gasket. I carry those with me because they're cheap, and duct tape, hand wipes, more Permatex. Got a whole bunch of spark plug wires here. Some of these are used, some of these are new. You know, my car takes some 90-degree boots, some like 135-degree boots. So I carry a whole bunch of assorted spark plugs with me, or spark plug wires with me. Spare spark plugs. I usually carry at least 2 sets of spark plugs. Spare oil filter, Holley jet kit for tuning. Lug nuts for race wheels. Holley gasket kits for changing the jets. Razor blades. Small tape measure. Rarely on a car do you ever have to measure anything longer than 12 feet, so just get a small one because it takes up less room. These are the plugs I was talking about earlier that take the Allen head drive. A bolt kit. I pretty much know every size of bolt that's in my car. They're all standard. So I made this bolt kit that has just a bunch of assorted bolts in it for my car. Boltsandnuts.com sells a drag and drive bolt and nut kit that you can buy, but I keep bolts in inventory in my shop, so I had all these to bring with me. Spare oil filter. I had to bring this little bottle jack. I know I have my big floor jack there, but I brought the bottle jack too, just in case. Spare alternator belt, power steering belt. Forgot what this was. Oh, okay. Valve train parts. There's a retainer, there's some locks, there's some valve seals in here. There's spare valves in here. I think this is a distributor gear, or bronze distributor. These are used valves, but again, you know, sometimes you're in a pinch. Distributor gear. That doesn't look bronze. It's supposed to be bronze. I guess I never took it out of the package. Ooh, that's the original gear. Oh, well, good thing I didn't need that. Ignition coil. There's a bronze distributor gear there. So, yeah. If you got a bronze gear, bring a spare. They're cheap and they wear out. I do have, this may be uncommon, a full set of lifters for my car to bring with me. Valve train is hard to find when you're on a drag and drive, and they do break. These are used lifters. These came with my engine when I bought them. I put new lifters in and kept the old ones as spares. Again, you never know when you're going to need them. And good luck trying to find a set of big block Chevy solid roller lifters out in the field somewhere. This was a fan that I was going to install on my trans cooler that I never did. More spark plugs. Forgot what was in here. Let's find out together. More valve train parts. Full set of valve springs. These are used. These came on my heads when I bought them. I put heavier springs on them, but I kept all these as spares because, again, you know, you may not want to race on those, but it might get you home. I think these might be guide plates. Guide plates. These are rocker studs. So all of this, again, is used stuff. I think these actually came with my heads, but I bought adjustable ones. These aren't adjustable. But yeah, like everything else, better to have a used one or one that's not totally right than none at all. Lug nuts for the front wheels. Heavier gauge wire, just in case. And axle bearing and an axle seal. Again, if you've got like bespoke bearings or seals or something like that, like this is a weird seal because I've got weird axles, bring one with you. These are like $8. They don't take up much space. You can spend a lot of money on $8 things that don't take up much space, but something like that I know I can't get anywhere, I bring with me. And then lastly, I have this floor jack. I've had this thing for like 15 years probably. What's nice about it is that it's aluminum. So all these sides are aluminum. So it's fairly lightweight. It's still probably 60, 70 pounds or something like that. But it's not like my big heavy steel one over there. That thing is really nice. It's really low. It's really long. It goes up fast. But it's over 100 pounds. And it takes up a lot of room. This one is neither of those things. So this is the one that I bring with me. Other than that, things that I've learned. One of the things I brought up was my wrenches. There was a time during the week where I was wanting to change jets in the carburetor, and I had to get open the socket bag, the wrench bag, and the screwdriver bag. What I might do next time, because I'm changing jets on the carburetor almost every day, trying to optimize everything, is get a new small tool bag, like maybe the electrical bag, that is just a carburetor bag, that has just the tools that I need to change jets in the carburetor. If there's something that you're going to do like a bunch of times or like every day, it's probably best to have that in a separate tool bag. We found that with changing the tires too. It would have been nice if that was all in one bag that we could just grab, and that was a tire changing bag. Or if we just had one bag that was all the stuff that you're going to use every day, so the stuff for the tires, stuff for the cutouts, and the stuff for the carburetor, would probably have been a good idea. So that's probably what we'll try and improve on for next time. Other than that, overall, it was pretty good. I didn't have any tools that I needed that I didn't bring with me. I was able to loan tools to other people that needed them, that forgot certain things. But yeah, just improving the ease of access, I think, would be a little bit better for next time. Otherwise, yeah, hope you guys learned something. Hope this was helpful, maybe. Hope this maybe took some stress off of you for trying to figure out what you should or shouldn't pack. Another thing that I will probably have with me next time that I didn't have with me this time was spare push rods. I would love to get a spare rocker too, maybe just one. My rockers are pretty good. They've been up to 3 drag and drives, and they were used when I got them, and they're still hanging on, so they're probably okay, but I would feel better if I had a spare. Valve train parts in general, drag and drive are hard on valve train. If you've got a heavy cam, best to bring spares. Another thing that I see a lot of people bring that I used to bring but don't anymore is jugs of gas. Really, you just got to know your car and what you're trying to do with it if you are debating on whether or not to bring gas. I got a 20-gallon gas tank in my car. I run regular pump gas. I get about 10 or 11 miles per gallon, so I can make it 200 miles not taking gas, no problem. You drive 200 miles in the car, you're ready to get out anyways. But if you've got like a 5-gallon fuel cell and you run E85, then yeah, you should probably bring a couple of jugs of spare gas. But the important thing with everything that you're going to pack is just knowing your car. Knowing what tools you're for sure going to need, knowing what tools you might need, and spare parts and stuff too. Easy things to bring are like spare spark plugs and stuff like that. If you're doing any tuning on your car, you should probably have spare spark plugs anyway, so that you can put in fresh plugs and check the tune up. Another thing that I think about when I'm deciding whether or not to bring something is how much space does it take up. Like I just talked about, spark plugs, they don't take up much space, so it's a pretty easy decision to bring those. If it's something like, a spare ring and pinion like I have up there, that takes up a lot of space. It's heavy. I really don't want to load and unload it every day. So I didn't bring it. However, if I would have broke my ring and pinion, I'd have really wished I had it. So things like that. It's kind of hard to sometimes make a judgment call on what to bring and what not to bring. Yeah, like I said, the important thing is just to know your car. And also just be thinking about what kind of stuff can you get at a parts store. I made a concerted effort on my car to use a lot of parts that I can just get at any O'Reilly's or AutoZone or anything like that. If you have parts that are necessary for you to compete and drive your car, and they are only available from like Summit, like my distributor gears that I was talking about, you're not going to find that at a parts store. Bring those with you. To consider is also what's going to happen if this part breaks and I don't have a spare. Okay, maybe there's a part that I can get at the parts store, but if it breaks, I can't limp my car to the parts store to go get it. So, yeah, think about that when you're packing as well. But that's about it. I can't think of anything else to talk about, really. I'm no expert. I've done 3 drag and drives now. There's plenty of people out there who have done way more than me and have way more experience and probably have different style cars that maybe have videos about this as well. I don't know. I made this video because I've never seen a video about how to figure out what to pack for a drag and drive. And I know it's always been something that I think about a lot before going to one of these events is, what do I pack? How do I pack it? How do I get it all in the car? What makes sense to bring? How do I bring enough? How do I not bring too much? So hopefully just, me going through what I bring is helpful to somebody. If you've got other ideas, put them in the comments. I'd love to know how you guys go about packing stuff, what you bring, what you don't bring. If I'm bringing something that you're like, that's dumb, don't bring that, let me know. I'm here to learn too.